Amazing. So we've got a question here. Melody is asking, please, I want to ask, is it possible to be on Global Talent Visa, fashion design, and be a carer for a start?
100%, 100%. 100%. If of course there are different paths to global talent visa. Apart from digital technology, there's arts and culture, there's also academia. I believe if you want to get into it, this is a wide audience. We may not speak specifically to you, so I think it's best you reach out after this. Or you can also, of course, I believe Glotale will be able to drop their details if you want to have that strategy call with them to understand it. If you also want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me. If you know me personally, let me know. I will direct you accordingly on how to meet with them, and they can understand your specifics. Like myself, I told myself off initially, but when I started seeing some signs, I felt I could do it, and I tried to do it, and I did it, and I got it. And people had money things around me. People have done a lot of commits when it comes to GitHub. I don't have a single thing on Git. Okay, I have some things on GitHub, but I'm not a GitHub person. People have made certain contributions, so I just told myself off. So for your question, I can say is yes, 100% yes. But again, it has to be peculiar to you. There's a way they can structure your experience to ensure you meet the criteria, your experience, or the impact you've made so far.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Chinazor as well. You really have the unique story. When I had a look at your submission, I just knew that this person's story is unique. And that is the thing about the Global Talent Visa. You're not going to have two persons having the same story. It's about what you've been doing all the while, right? And like you said, impact. And I'd like to understand this aspect of rejection, right? I saw your post. I was really inspired. You talked about this is not just about your visa journey, it's about life, failure in any form, job, business, dream, marriage, whatever. So for someone who has passed through rejection, could be this application, it could be career related. What advice would you give to them drawing from this experience you had with your visa journey?
I would say, right, the biggest lesson is that rejection is not failure. That you're rejected in a thing is not that you have failed. When I completed my master's in artificial intelligence with business strategy, I felt I was hotcake because even before I came to do the program, I have a lot of recruiters have reached out to headhunt me. I was the one taking my time to make selections of jobs I wanted to work for and the ones I didn't want to work for, you know. But this rejection is something that will devastate you. You will doubt everything about yourself, But I want you to understand that rejection is not failure. Success often requires resilience and that willingness for you to adapt, and also the courage to always try again. So I can say, no matter the rejection you've faced so far, marriage failure, academic failure, probably you didn't even finish school at all, or you have applied for the global talent visa and failed and failed again. Not failed, rejected. It is not failure. Just 1 year is enough for you. Even as recruiters are chasing and headhunting me, I've also turned in several applications, and I got rejected. I also got, unfortunately, the ones you want are not coming. The ones you don't want are coming. So for you to understand that, that word no means next opportunity, like people often say. So try to brace up as quickly as you can and move to the next opportunity. If you're someone that is not strong for yourself and you have strong backup system around you, try to leverage on those backup systems. But you need to also be careful, because at that stage of rejection, you are vulnerable, and there are vulnerabilities you can expose yourself to, and the people you are vulnerable to will lead you to something negative that would not achieve the result you're looking to achieve, or that would deviate you from your values, because each and every one, we have our values. I have my values. I have things that I look out for when I am working with someone. I have things I look out for when I'm dealing with someone. If those values are not aligned to my values, I don't think I'll carry on with it. Even if I do, I'll do it politically, and then I'll drop off, I'll just cut out, So failure, rejection is not failure. No is next opportunity. Leverage on your support systems as much as you can, but you have to know that you're vulnerable. And at that vulnerable state, you need to really be careful about it. So just 1 year is enough to change the trajectory of your experience as someone that has faced rejection. Brace up and seek the proper guidance. That's what I would say.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of that, yes, that came through, how has it impacted your life and career so far? So before Global Talent Visa and after Global Talent Visa, what has the impact been getting that yes? Yes, from yes, from the endorsing body and home office.
Yeah, so my joy was unspeakable that day. I first shared it with my partner, and then the second person I shared it with was yourself at Glotale, and then I informed DG Evolve as well. These are the three first people I shared almost at the same time, and I called you. We started celebrating. I can't remember. I can't forget that song. Remember, we even before I submitted the application, I had prayed with my partner, and after we submitted, before I submitted, I called you. I said I was about submitting. He said, "Okay, let's pray again." I called you particularly. I didn't call any of your team members. We prayed. So when that day, what was that song we sang? Don't remind me. I want to remember it because it's one of my favorite songs. I'll remember it. All the glory must be to the Lord, for he is worthy of our praise. No man on earth should take the glory. All the glory must be to God. So that was how that was the start of my celebration for the yes I received from the endorsement, and then my eventual application for the visa was also granted. Yeah, then I don't know I don't know if it opened more doors really. I don't know if to say, because this success is a mindset, really. Success is a mindset. Once you feel like a success, you become a success. Once you feel like a failure, you become a failure. So when it came with that sense of success, that sense of renewed vigor. So everything around me, doors started opening. My approach to work even changed. I don't know the kind of confidence I had even at work. I've never been someone that is dodgy at work. I've always owned whatever space I find myself. But I saw an increased sense of purpose in what I do, in everything. And to be fair, many other yeses started coming at once. So that's why I said I think it's a mindset thing. But many other yeses started coming. So when I turn in applications, I don't turn in applications out of apprehension that, oh, I'm looking for someone that will sponsor me. Because one thing the Global Talent Visa does for you is you're not bound to any employer. You're not bound to a particular job. You can do anything. And you can do anything at any time. Nothing restricts you from anything. You're able to also be reside with your family. You're able to take on any kind of roles. You're able to establish your own business yourself. You don't need to. I mean, there are no restrictions on certain things that you can do, like other types of visas. So receiving that yes kind of opened a lot of other doors, and I was no longer at the mercy of anybody I was trying to apply to. They were rather at my mercy, because when they reach out, you know how recruiters reach out on LinkedIn requesting you to apply for this job or requesting you to send your CVs. They're considering you for this opportunity. You scrutinize them. You take your time to make your choice. No longer, going for everything that you see. So that's how everything changed for me, really, after that endorsement.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And talking about inspiring others, what's next for you in your journey? How do you hope to continue inspiring others? I mean, you talked about impact, you've been talking about impact. So yeah, I'd like to know.
So it's been a transformative journey for me. This endorsement or this visa, it did not just expand my professional opportunities and career opportunities. It also boosted my confidence also, and it's a test. It stood like a testament of the power of kind of persevering to achieve something, and not just persevering, but persevering in joy and through proper guidance. Um, I'm committed to continue actually finding a way to inspire people and to guide others as well that are looking for the same things. And especially those that might have been like me that haven't seen themselves as global talents, whereas they are doing great work. So, what I can say is, even if you haven't started your journey into appearing on the global scenes, you can start it today. My story can challenge you to start it today. You can start from the little corner where you are. You can start from that place you're working. Reimagine that your role. What can you do differently? And as you're doing these things, try to also build your digital footprint, because if you don't say that you are here, nobody will say that you're here. Nobody will know that you're here. If you don't announce yourself, nobody will announce you. Nobody will do that work for you. I know something my organization does is they are very big on your personal branding, and that's something I like a lot. So nobody would do that for you. Most employers are not really interested in those personal branding. So you have to own it yourself. I challenge you today. I dare you today to start talking about your work, no matter how small or insignificant you think they are. One thing I've observed is people that do great things, they lack the words to talk about it. People that do not even do as much as you do, they are the ones that talk more about the work that they do. And there's something I was sharing with some people, and I think I posted it sometime online. Or I was working with one of my mentors from Jaguar Land Rover, and she said to me, half known is better than the best. So you might be the best at that thing you're doing, like the fashion designer that is asking a question. You might have been a fashion designer for some time and you know your earnings, you know what you're doing, but you don't talk about what you're doing. And someone else that cannot even cut fabrics, maybe the person is outsourcing it to someone else, and then because the person is big on the internet or on LinkedIn or in building her digital portfolio, is the one talking about it. You're doing more work than the person, but because the person is half known, the person is better than yourself, who is the best in your craft. So I challenge you today, I inspire you today, I dare you today to go out there, do that impactful work, and then talk about it. Let me tell you something as well. If you're working somewhere and your mind is only on the pay that comes into your pocket, you may need to have a changed mindset. Sometimes there are rewards that may come that may not be monetized. And some of these rewards that come are some of the things that the global talent is looking for, because they want to see people that will come and transform the economy of UK. They don't want people that are coming to take what they have. They want you to create the opportunity and increase their economy. So if you have that give me mindset, I think it's time you started asking yourself, what can I do to improve my environment? That place you're seated, those children that don't understand that don't understand their times table, what can you do to improve their lives? Are there things you can build to help them understand it at that early stage? What about the young ladies that are out there that have just probably early marriage and they don't know their left from their right? Can you set them aright? Do you have the resources? Do you have the wherewithal to help them through? It may not cost you any money. It may just be a word of encouragement, or you bring them together and speak sense into them. What about the school dropout that think their life is finished? What about people that lack finance and they think because they don't have finance, they can't start a business, not knowing that some businesses you don't need finance to start it? What can you do in that spaces, in these little spaces? These are some of the things you start thinking about. In that current role you're looking for the next big role. Can you already start working in the shoes of that next big role? For example, I used to have an office assistant in an organization I had worked for before. The office assistant did not go to school. I started engaging with her. Whenever my driver brings my bag to the office, she will often come and collect it from me and take it to my office. When she's taking it there, sometimes, so my mind will be telling me, oh no, this person wants more than what she's doing as an office assistant. I spoke to her. I said, what about trying to acquire a degree that can take you from an office assistant to working within the organization as a proper staff? I've seen security people being converted to full-time staff, doing great work in great positions. She considered it, and before you know it, the following year, she started doing an evening program. I've impacted her. Until tomorrow, she will keep calling me and say, Auntie Vivi, thank you so much. Auntie Vivi, this is what I want to do next. How can I go about it? I'll tell her, okay, what about you do this? Okay, this is what you're doing. Can you do it this way? in your local environment where you are there people you can impact in the same way? That is what the global talent is looking for. They're looking for people that can impact their environment and increase their revenue. So I dare you today, if you haven't started, you can start building these things. And in less than a year, you will have a strong portfolio. And if you're already doing it, I also encourage you to start talking about it. Start talking about it because, like I said, like I was told, half known is better than the best. Um, I've spoken at length, Marilyn. I don't know.
Like, you're so inspiring that I just want to jump up and just start doing something right now. Amazing. Okay, so wow, wow, wow. And just to give our listeners context as well, Chinazor was doing something for the stay-at-home moms, right? So she's talking about, some people would say, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, and it becomes a problem for them. But she found that as an opportunity. Can you maybe talk about what you were doing for stay-at-home moms and maybe how you brought that into your application as well? What you,
Yeah, I think this is maybe it's not the reason you asked me that question, Marilyn, because you this I don't know you this story really resonated very well with you even during the
yeah,
application time.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so something that happened was I became a stay-at-home mom after I had my second child. I got an offer with a telecoms company called it was Etisalat then, but now it's called Nine Mobile. I don't know if it still exists. So I rejected that offer. I was with my partner. We just came out from the interview when the offer made and everything. And he was on the phone when someone called me and said, "Oh, they listed three of us that came for the interview to resume. You're not resuming." I said, "No, I can't afford to leave my child for that job." When I said that, I thought my partner was going to be sad, but no, he admired me even the more. I never knew. I mean, I just said it and I was waiting for the worst to happen. But it made him even develop that respect further for me. So while I was staying at home as a stay-at-home mom, I found a lot of opposition. Sometimes in the morning, when you look out the window, you see people driving to work, you feel useless. I studied electrical electronics engineering. I made a claim 2-1. In fact, I was pursuing first class, but for some reasons, as some of us will say, it didn't come. But you know what? I rejected I opted to be a stay-at-home mom, but when I see them, I felt very resentful. I started telling myself, did I spend 5 years in the university just to be at home, cradling with my little creature? It's very interesting, to take care of children, but then you feel that sense of loss. You feel that sense of unaccomplishment. You feel, oh, will I continue being at a receiving end? Stuff like that. And that was something that moved me. I attended a girls' school and my president reached out. My president, God bless her for me. She said, you're being considered to be our financial secretary or treasurer. I can't remember, but they just wanted me to be holding their money and be reporting. But anytime she requests me to send money to individuals, these are stay-at-home moms like myself. I called her one day. I said, instead of constantly giving those people money, isn't it better we teach them how to fish? She was like, how do I mean? And I explained to her. While I was staying at home as a stay-at-home mom, I remembered in engineering, they will tell you that engineering is the application of science and maths to solve a problem. What can we apply to solve a problem? Then that was when I started, okay, I can manage domains. I can build websites. Not that I could do it, but I just started doing it. And before I knew it, I started getting gigs. I will write proposals for people and they will pay me 150,000 and, stuff like that. They were just, money just started coming. I just started doing stuff. And I started designing websites. There are people I don't even design websites just to manage their domains, create their official email addresses and manage and stuff. I was just doing stuff. So when I told President that, he said, "Oh, that's really a good idea. So what do we do?" I said, "Yeah, we can start off." And that was how we organized our alumni platform and we started teaching them. I now started as the ICT Edu Hub for stay-at-home moms, where I teach them digital skills that they can be doing even as stay-at-home moms, and then they're able to have some revenue. If nothing more, that sense of accountability or resourcefulness will be renewed in their lives to do something, and they will know that they can still do something whilst catering to their home. And that was how it all started. And I started doing that. And not just that I started doing that, there are people that already have businesses, but they didn't understand, they didn't have digital presence. I also helped them move around how to carry those businesses, take it out there where the people are, because it only makes sense for you to take your businesses, your services, your goods, whatever, to where the people are. And where are they? They're on the social media. She took it out there. Before you know, she started exporting that her product that she was making. So these are some of the testimonials that inspired me to continue doing stuffs for stay-at-home moms. And when I came, when I didn't even see it as a big opportunity, I was sharing with Marilyn. She said, "So what's your plan for this?" I told her, to be honest, the reason I work for the organization I work for is because it aligns with this mission I was doing before. That I want to have an AI platform where these women can actually become something. For example, in the Western world, most of the stay-at-home moms rely solely or majorly on the government for universal credit and stuff like that. My mindset is, if I can build an AI app that will make them understand who they really are as they are nursing their children or as they are being stay-at-home moms, they'll be doing something. And as they learn that thing, they'll now start generating some revenue from it. She said, "Oh, why don't you design this thing?" In fact, I think that was it? I can't remember if it was what you used. It was one of my trump cards in this application, really. Because the way the way after I explained it to her, the way she now had to arrange it, I said, "Oh wow, so good can come out of this small thing," like I explained. So that's just that story about ICT Edu Hub for stay-at-home moms.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're still like a stay-at-home mom, but working stay-at-home. What do we call you now?
And I work from home, really. Well, I'm still a mom. I'm still a mom, but I'm not full time because I have something I'm doing. I work, really.
Yeah. I
Is
mean,
what it is.
in a remote age now, because like you're a mom, but you're staying at home, you're working, like the whole concept is that you can be where you are, like within your circumstance and create opportunities out of it. And actually, like those opportunities can even become something you use in applications like the Global Talent Visa. Who would have known?
I'm telling you, honestly, I agree with you 100% because I didn't see it as something really serious until you started making a big deal out of it, really. And I now saw it was really big. I saw it was really big. Yeah, there are people like that. They are staying at home taking care. Before you know it, they will now learn how to sew. They will learn how to sew. That alone can also attract them. Some can become writers. They will start writing. They'll start writing. They can use that as part of the things that can. It's just well, it's not absolute. It's relative. So it's just best we take it offline. If there are people in the audience that have such talents, or they feel they are global talents, or they feel they can work towards global talents, I think it's just best they get in touch with yourselves, or if they come to me, I'll direct them to, so you can understand them, and then you structure how they can do it. Because sometimes we just second guess ourselves and say, no, we are not good for it, not knowing that there's something that can come up from it. But just
Okay.
the guidance that we need.
Yeah, let's see if there are any more question. Yeah, one more question would be, I think one of the things as well that I would say challenge, but one of the hurdles was promised talent. Remember, you know, can you recall how that? So promise. So usually with the global talent visa application, there is the exceptional promise and exceptional talent route, and that was one area as well we had to kind of walk through and finally decide on which one to go for.
I almost forgot. I almost forgot. When there are a lot of things, you don't even know where to start from. When it comes to that talent thing, promise and talent, promise is you're within 0 to 5 years in the tech industry, and talent is you're beyond 5 years. You've worked more than 5 years in the digital tech industry in a product-led environment. So when I applied for that my first application, I had used exceptional talent because I've been more than 5 years in the tech industry. But because of the my packaging, the structuring and everything, I haven't done it properly, because even the second application, I used almost the same thing, but I did it differently, and I enhanced it the more through the coaching sessions. So when I applied for that first one, because I got that rejection, the second time I said, oh, wow, maybe I doubted my abilities. I think maybe I overestimated my achievements or accomplishments. So let me use promise so that they can reduce my bar, my assessment bar and stuff like that. But after the whole packaging, after my whole coaching sessions and the submission and everything, and it was submitted. I was surprised to see that I was given exceptional talent as well. Because before you submit, you need to state a reason. So I could remember then I asked you, so now what will I use as my reason? You see, you said, you know what? So you asked me, so why am I going for this? I didn't even know, my mind was blank. You created something, and no, in fact, it was divine. I submitted and it came as exceptional talent. So that's just the story.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. Amazing. So, talking about rejection, because you were actually accepted. The way it works like like you're multiplying numbers. 100 is zero, right? So for the criteria, you could get mandatory criteria, all good, optional criteria one, all good, and then you failed on another criteria, right? It's like one times zero, it's zero. And that's how it works. So you actually accepted on one criteria, right? So, and how did you feel about that one criteria? I'm linking it to what you're saying about stay at home months and all that, because it was actually the evidence you used, work outside occupation, that was accepted, even though, yeah, it was not in the perfect structure and all things were all over the place, but you were still accepted on one criteria, right? And we build on that. Do you want to maybe just talk about that lastly before we summarize? Yeah.
Okay, so of course, I don't know if the audience understand optional criteria. So when applying for Global Talent Visa, you need to meet mandatory criteria, one mandatory criteria and two optional criteria. So there's mandatory criteria and optional criteria one and two, and there are certain evidences you need to meet. Apart from this, another mandatory criteria, apart from that single one from the list of evidences, you need to have 3 letters of recommendation from industry leaders in your field who are in a product-led environment. You also need to have your CV, and you also need to have your personal statement. So each of these three, the three recommendation letters, your CV, your personal statement, and also the one mandatory criteria, the one option, two optional criteria, one optional criteria one and one optional criteria two, and are the things you need to meet. When the pro forma, when they are reviewing it, so they are taking off the ones you met, the ones you succeeded in, the ones you were okay at, and the ones you were not okay at. I can't remember exactly um, all the criteria I was rejected for, but I know that one of my recommendation letters was not accepted, and I also know that one of the optional criteria were not accepted, but the one that was accepted is this one. So the thing is, for each of these criteria, there are things they want to see. They want to see the work you've done outside of your regular 9 to 5 that you do. That's part of the impact that you would do. They also want to see the, not just that in that work you've done, what impact have you made in that work that you've done? So I think that was when I put that my escapade or my sojourn with the stay at home moms, and that was the criteria that was accepted. I can't remember exactly the other options right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Okay. So people are asking as well, how can they reach out to you? We're going to link your profile. So anyone that wants to reach out to Chinazor can reach out on LinkedIn. Is there any other platform maybe where you would like people to connect with you?
no, LinkedIn is fine. LinkedIn is fine. If I get the invites on LinkedIn, I try to respond. May not be immediately, but I eventually will respond.
Yeah, Chinazor is the LinkedIn top voice as well. So she's like a hot cake on LinkedIn. So yeah, we're
Here,
pleased to have you. And thank you so much. Any final words? Final words for our audience?
I've spoken at length on final words. Really, I can't overstretch that place of guidance, proper guidance in everything that we've done. It's just important for us to seek the proper guidance. Like I said before, you can have all the grace, you can have all the grades, but if you're not guided properly, that's the reason people make some mistakes. You see a talented person, and the person ends up not doing well, not because this person is not talented, but the person was not properly guided. And you see some children, when you hear them speak, you see they're full of wisdom, but how they apply their wisdom is in negative things because of lack of guidance. So the only thing I would say is when you've decided to take on this journey, seek proper guidance. In learning, you teach, and in teaching, you learn. No one is an what? How do they say it? Nobody, no one is a knowledge is an island of knowledge, or I don't know how they often say it. But seek proper guidance. There are a lot of people out there that will tell you they can support, but if they don't have that testimonial of going through it, and remember, just one case study is not enough. There are different case studies you need to go through. So you need to use seek guidance from people that have had different case studies, not people that you will go to, they'll tell you, oh, no, you're not product led, forget about it. And then you become demoralized and you will not even nurse that mind to carry on. Or you look for guidance from people that can bring out those potentials. And even if those potentials are not at the bar required for you to meet it, they can set it up. They can put you on a program for you to reach that bar and then get qualified for it. That's the only thing I can say at this final thoughts. And if you ever get rejected, I'm saying the rejection because I took it personally, even though I knew it wasn't personal. These things are not personal. Performance is objective, it's not subjective. You're rejected because of your performance is objective. Nobody, it's not because they don't like your face or anything. It's simply objective. There's something you haven't done correctly. Don't let anyone try to talk us into believing, oh, they are racist. There are other people like yourself in the same color or anything that you're trying to say that was the reason that we are accepted into that. So what have they done differently? So don't excuse any rejections. Follow it head on, but do it after you've bounced back first. Leverage the support systems you have around you to bounce back, because once you're at peace with yourself, once you're at peace with people around you, it helps you think strategically. If you're scattered all over, if you don't have peace at home, you don't have peace here, you can't think straight. Once you have that peace and you're able to think straight, then seek proper guidance. If you've not started at all, there is still a room for you. Everything the Global Talent Visa wants, at least for the UK, they want that impact. You can start today to drive impact and make your impact known. I've said it enough. I cannot over label it really. Let me not overflog it. But yeah, it's been lovely chatting on this platform today as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We really, really appreciate having you as well. Keep blazing, keep making impacts. You're amazing. You're amazing, and your story is so, so inspiring. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for joining. Right. We'll see again. And yeah, we'll leave all the links that you can use to follow Chinazor. All right. Bye. Bye-bye.